So hello, welcome to Active Ideas. This is a review video of the Enduro 2 versus the 955 versus the 255S model. So we've got a nice discrepancy of sizes, features, and yeah, just my experience over the last, almost 6 months, even longer for some of these watches now. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. So the Enduro 2 is the largest at 51mm. We've also got the 955, which is like 47mm, a little bit smaller, and we also have the 255S. In terms of features as well, what I do like about the 955, for example, as a watch, is it's very kind of lightweight, and you're getting all of the features, or most of the features of the Enduro 2, just in a smaller form factor. But if you've seen my other video, you've seen that I run into some issues with the 955, and we'll go into a little bit of that today in terms of whether I feel like that was addressed by Garmin or if there's still kind of ongoing issues. Down here below us, we've got the smallest watch, the 255S, and this has been fantastic for kind of going to the gym with. Yeah, just kind of if I want to go out for a short 5k and don't want something big and bulky, this has been fantastic to wear. For swimming, you just forget it's on your wrist. It's absolutely fantastic, really. Yeah, what's amazing about this watch as well is the heart rate accuracy is perfect with the 255S, and also the battery life has shocked me. It's been fantastic, and most importantly as well, the GPS has been unreal. So for the price point that you're getting here with the 255S, fair play to Garmin. This is a fantastic device. It has the multi-band, dual band, all systems on. It has everything that you need, and I'm getting fantastic data, if not the best GPS out of this. Maybe due to it being in a plastic form case, and for the price point, it's fantastic. Yeah, let's dive in a little bit. As you can see, I'm a bit of a lover of the nylon bands as well. It just takes a bit of the burden of the weight off of these heavier devices. So I've got this down to, I think it's 42 grams, and this is down to around 270 grams. So the nylon band is quite useful. So people might be wondering what the watches look like on someone's wrist. I have quite a small wrist actually. It might not look like it in this video, but I have I think 16.5 centimeter wrist. You can see the 255S is nice and small and delicate to use. The 955 is a little bit bigger screen, but not massive. And then we've got the Enduro 2, which is just, beast of a watch. So that's all of the watches there for you. And as you can see, the lugs of the watch face as well aren't going past the width of my wrist, so this is probably the best watch size for me. But the only issue is I really love the flashlight of the Enduro 2. So this is what the Enduro 2 looks like. Again, it's a good looking watch, but you can see the lugs are just slightly going over the width of my wrist. But this watch has got the flashlight, and it's one of my favourite features. And you can see that my wrist is engulfing this watch. So let's have a little flick through. So these are your watch faces. I've chosen this Quattro watch face because it doesn't have that annoying digital hand that blocks all of the data, and I like just being able to see everything all at once. So I can see here that my battery is 73%. You can dial in this any way you want. That's just the settings I have. And a similar kind of thing with the Enduro 2 as well, where we've got the altimeter at the top, the temperature, battery level. I've got 18 days left. How much have we got on the 955? We've got 8 days. Yeah, and the barometer, the heart rate. And we've got more of a simple watch face here on the 255, but I like that you can see your VO2 max, the time, the date, your weekly mileage. What more do you need? You can tell I'm injured, hey. One massive thing that I do like about the Epix range, the Enduro range, and also the Fenix is that if you want to interact with the watch face, you actually can. So if I want to look at the temperature, I can hold down on the temperature. It's going to take me straight to the weather app. And when I'm done, I can kind of swipe back out. I look at the altimeter really quickly and go, oh look, I'm 95 meters above sea level. Swipe straight back out. Look at the battery level. It's going to take me to my battery saver. So I can, on a full charge, so I can turn it on. And now I've got 83 days worth of battery life. And if you're a data nerd like me, you can hold down on heart rate from the watch face. It will take you straight there and just scroll through your whole day's worth of heart rate. I mean, this is really cool, a really cool feature. We'll go through the menus now. So solar intensity is something that I do prefer on the Enduro and Fenix range, whereas it's going to tell you the actual lux here. So I can see that I've got 0.5 thousand lux. Here, I don't know what's going on. I've just got this graph and this little small chart here. This is just straight to the point. This is the solar intensity right now. And you can even see that throughout the week, go up and down. If you're trying to monitor vitamin D levels and you're a bit holistic like me, then that's a really kind of cool graph chart to have. Yeah, whereas you haven't got any settings with the solar, you've just got this simple watch face. We'll have a quick look at the weather, shall we, in all three. I've still got this one in Fahrenheit, which is annoying. And the weird thing with the iPhone as well is that I do have the app open, so every now and then I will get kind of some funky, you know, open up your Garmin Connect to get more data, but it's open. So it's very odd as well that the 955 and 255 is saying it, but the Enduro 2 is sweet and happy with my iPhone at the moment. Information on this page you can see is very similar, 13 degrees, 13 degrees, and that's about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see your highs and your lows. On the Enduro 2 you can see the percent of it raining right now, which is 0%. You can see that on the 255 and on the 955 as well. It's also going to tell you when it updated the weather. So it updated the weather today at 1:13. So I know that the information I'm getting is fairly correct. But yeah, everything's very similar actually. I'm impressed with all three. Swiping down, you can see the hourly, what's going to be going on. 1 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, and 1 AM. So there's no discrepancy there. So now we have the daily, and again, you can swipe through and see what the weather's going to be like on all these different days. And because the screen's a bit smaller on the 255, it's just going to give you the option to toggle, yeah, from Thursday all the way to Monday actually. Here we go. So interestingly, you can get more information, it seems, on the 255 than the 955. Swiping down again, we've got the hourly trend. Hourly trend's quite useful as well if you are hiking or something like that. You can see over the past 6 hours it's been relatively cold and it's been raining quite a bit, which is represented with the blue line on this chart. And you can maybe compare that to your barometer and work out if it's, you know, the weather's going to continue as it is or change. It's just useful to have a bit more information. And then the last page is all the same now. So we've got the air quality page. And as you can see here, you've got the humidity, and the dew point. You can see that the Enduro is struggling to get the UV index at the moment, but we're getting very similar information. So 82% and 11% dew point. If you watch the Crushing Iron podcast, like I do, you'll know how much us athletes neglect the importance of the dew point when we're training. So that's the weather. We'll swipe out of that. We'll swipe out of that. What else have we got? We've got the sunset and sunrise. It's a great feature for when you're going for a run or a hike or whatever. You just want to know how much actual hours of sunlight have I got left before I need to start worrying about my own safety, I guess. But it's the same on all watches. You can skip through the days and see, you know, on the 11th of November, you know, when's the sun gonna rise, when's the sun gonna set, all that good stuff. And you can go back in time as well, so you can go backwards and forwards. Really useful page. Not only that, it tells you the twilight zone as well, so you're gonna get that on all three watches. It's gonna be exactly the same information. What else we've got then? We've got the ABC, and I'm going to jump into a bit of navigation now. So we'll show you the ABC and then I'll show you some of the navigation stuff. So the compass information is very similar on all watches at the moment, as you can see. Basically you've got the barometer, whether it's going up or down. You've got the degrees it's pointing at, which is all very similar. You've got north, which is facing that way. We'll swipe down as well just to see the altimeter. They're all a little bit different. I don't really calibrate mine because I was under the assumption that every time you go for a run it will kind of calibrate the GPS anyway when it connects to satellites. Maybe I'm wrong, but here you can see the discrepancy. And I have had a few sessions where I've taken all three to go out for a hill rep session, and two were reporting the exact same altimeter, and one was reporting the exact same like rises and going down, but it was almost 200 meters out, so I don't know what that was about. And it was actually the 955 which was reporting the wrong altimeter. But yeah, there's no fantastic information here apart from that you can scroll through the altimeter and see how that's changed, and that can be done on just the Enduro. So there we go. So going down again, we've got the barometer, and the barometer I've found to be very accurate on all of them, to be fair. Really enjoyed seeing that. You can see the graphs are pretty much exactly the same. Nothing really, again, to report here other than that you can swipe through and see how the barometer's changed over time. You can't do that on the 955 or 255. I just wanted to add that if you wanted to change any of these settings, you can kind of hold down the up menu and you can go onto the ABC and change all the settings. So if you want to change the compass, you can to calibrate it. You can change the altimeter and calibrate it, and also the metric that it's reported in, and you can also change the barometer, and more importantly as well, what plot you want, and also storm alerts, which I haven't actually had this set off yet by storm alerts. I probably need to make it more sensitive, but usually Garmin's are fantastic at doing that. The last page as well is the compass, and the compass is pretty simple on the 255 and the 955. On the Enduro, you're just going to get a bit more information with the degrees around the dial, and also if you wanted to lock the heading to take a bearing or something, you can set it and it will show you how much you've kind of deviated from that plot that you've set, which can be interesting if you're trying to kind of like point yourself towards a mountain. You've lost sight of the mountain, but you know that you can just keep the compass pointing the right way so that you're always on track. Yeah, and that was the compass with all of them. So we'll come out of this now and look at the training statuses. And again, they all have access to Garmin's Physio TrueUp. So in theory, you should be getting the same training status and readiness information from all of these watches. I have found discrepancy where the 255 might be saying that I'm underproductive. This might be saying that I'm in recovery mode, and this might be saying that I'm holding steady or productive with my VO2 max. But all in all, it's been okay, it's been good. At the minute I've got 56. The next thing you'll see is the lactate threshold, and what's very interesting is we're actually getting more information on the 955 about the lactate threshold. Just wanted to add as well that your watch does know what your critical power is, so I think it should display what your watts is as well, but it doesn't at the moment. So you can also flick through that and see your 10k prediction time, and you can see your half marathon prediction time and your marathon prediction time. I mean, this is fantastic. It would be fantastic if Garmin were to increase this and you could see your 50k. I mean, that would be great. And also maybe 100k and a little bit of ultra estimations as well. That would be really cool, I think. So yeah, so that's the fitness status, I guess you want to call it, or whatever the Garmin call it. Now I've got training status, and the training status is just going to show you where you're at really. How's training going? Well, I'm holding steady with my VO2 max. I haven't been sleeping with these watches recently because my sleep's been terrible, so I have no HRV status, and my load at the minute is optimal. So I'm doing the optimal amount of training to maintain my fitness. And you can actually get a bit more information by scrolling down on these watches, and you'll see that all the graphs are very similar. So I'm on the lower end of optimal, but I'm holding somewhere in the ballpark of what's going to be great for me to maintain my fitness. You can scroll down and see kind of like your loads, and basically what are you spending more time doing. Has your training been highly anaerobic? Has it been aerobic? Are you deficient? And as you can see here, and as I can feel actually personally in my training, I'm really deficient in my anaerobic thresholds and my anaerobic power, because I've been doing lots of ultras and lots of recovery and not much pushing myself, to be honest. So yeah, this watch is showing that. Okay, so to come out of the load focus, we've also got the VO2 max. I'm not going to go into that because obviously that was a widget within itself, and you will find there's a little bit of overlap with Garmin. We've also got the HRV status. Really interesting as well. So I slept with the Enduro 2 on and the 955 last night, so they're actually reporting their own data here. And one thing I must admit, with the HRV that Garmin's been doing, it has been fantastic. I've been seeing really similar results in terms of what one watch is saying, what the other watch is saying, and what that gives you as a customer, as a user, is like, yeah, a bit of confidence to say, actually, this is really accurate data. Usually, as you can see here, the average is spot on, and usually the highest and lowest are spot on as well, if not 2 or 3 out, which when you're looking at trends, that's fantastic. This is great. This is what you need to be seeing to know if you're getting good, reliable information, reliable enough to base your training off of. So I'm really happy with that, actually. The only gripe I have with the 955 is I wish it reported the minimum that you got as well, just to show you like, how bad did it get last night as well, because I know it's average, it was okay, but how bad did it get? And the Enduro is going to tell me, well, my HRV did drop down to 39. I think that's quite useful to know, rather than just seeing this weird graph. I don't know what that is. And what you'd be able to see as well is a weekly 7-day trend. And last of all, you've got the recovery. So it's useful information. I mean, a lot of people joke. I don't know if you listen to Triathlon Mockery with Joe Skipper and the other funny dude. Sorry, I can't remember your name, my man, but I love you. The recovery that Garmin have is a bit of a joke, to be honest, but it is getting better, and I've seen it get much better compared to how it was 6-7 years ago, where you'd go out for a 5k and it was asking you to rest for like 4 days. Now it's giving me information I actually think, yeah, that's probably decent. I probably should rest more than what it's saying, or I probably should rest more than what I'm doing. And when I do listen to the advice that it's giving you, I do feel actually better for myself and avoid burnout. So yeah, I think that's really cool. So you've seen the training status, and this is why Garmin is so good, to be honest, that they have just, if you're a bit of a data nerd like I am, as you can tell I am, you can just dive into it. The last activity is going to be on all of these watches. So the last activity widget is just going to show you what you did last, and you can scroll down and look before that, so you can see, you know, a couple minutes before that I was actually in the spin class doing some intense workout. And if you want to dive into the information, it's really good. You can have a look at it all and see what my average heart rate was. Again, struggling with the responsiveness of the screen here on the 955. Yeah, you can see my heart rate, my max heart rate and all that good stuff. Tempo workout, and you can dive into it even more if you really wanted to, just going on all stats. And the all stats of the activity is going to show you for whatever activity that you did. I did spin class, every piece of information that it collected, down to the calories, the max heart rate. I've got my aerobic training effect and my anaerobic training effect, my load, and it's going to tell you the source. So it's telling you, look, I did the spin class with the 955 solar. Really cool information here. You can scroll through weeks of, you know, activities that you've been doing. But also we've got the step counter. Step counter's great. There's not much to talk about. You're either you're either into your steps or you're not. So yeah, we've got steps on all three. We'll swipe through, and we've got the weekly steps that I've done and also the distance. We'll swipe through, weekly steps, distance, we'll swipe through, weekly steps and distance. I do like that it's going to tell you the average on the Enduro, so you can see I've got the average 2-mile distance, and you've got the average steps as well, rather than just trying to have to work that out for yourself based on that graph. This is going to tell you this is what your average was. If you're wondering why my steps are so low as well, I am currently a little bit injured from the ultra I did last week. Let's look at the heart rate, shall we? So I wore the Enduro 2 last night with the 955. This stayed on the bedside table, but I did wear some of it this morning. It's working with Physio TrueUp as well, so all of them are reporting that my average today in all three of these devices that it thinks it is 48. You can also scroll through the heart rate, which I really like about the Enduro 2 line, and see what was my heart rate at like 3 AM. I honestly don't know. Let's have a look. So 3 AM my heart rate was 57. Can you do that on this watch on the 955? No, you can't. You can't do it on the 255 either. Scrolling through this data as well is really good. It's surprising because there's not much of the watch face you can touch, to be honest, because it's a small, you know, I know it's the Enduro 2, but it's a small area of display. And they're still very responsive. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to swipe through and look at my heart rate, and then I'm going to stop swiping by going to the edge of the display, and then I can come out of it. Then I can go swipe down and look at, you know, my averages, and I can scroll back up, and again, just look how responsive the Enduro 2 is. It's fantastic. So this is the body battery on all of the watches, and it's saying that my body battery has dropped down to who knows, but yeah, reporting very similar numbers. The 955 thinks that I went up to 100 from my sleep last night. The Enduro thinks no, it's not too convinced that I'm fully recovered, and I'd say this is probably a bit more accurate, to be fair, in terms of how I'm feeling. What information have we got? You can look at the body battery as well as the stress and see if there's any correlation as well, where your stress has gone up and your body battery is starting to drop. And you can see when my nan came over, I got super stressed. What's interesting is you've only got 2 pages on the Enduro 2, and it's going to take you straight back to the beginning. But the thing is, because it's displaying more information, you're getting this 3rd page anyway on the Enduro screen. So yeah, plus 60, minus 19. So we'll have a look at sleep. So here's the sleep data on all of the watches. So what you have to choose is, what is your preferred device? I've always had mine as the 955. So you can see the sleep duration here, and that's been updated through Physio TrueUp on all 3 watches, and your sleep score, so 60 out of 100. And it's saying the sleep was relentless, which, yeah, fair enough. Again, you can't really do anything on this 955. On the Enduro 2, you can look at the sleep modes, alarms, and settings, so there's a bit more easier to jump into the settings. We'll have a little swipe down and have a look at the breakdown, so you can see the average time I spent awake, the average time that was in light sleep, REM and deep sleep, and you've got a bit of an easier way to understand that information on the next page. And here we go, look, although you slept long enough, your sleep was restless. Then we've got the sleep stages on these watches, on the 955 and 255. Pulse ox was taken 6 hours ago and it was 100%. Let's have a look what the 955 is saying. And then 121 days ago, 95%, so there we go. What happens when you click on this? You can see how your blood oxygen has changed throughout the day, and it's detected that I'm not wearing it, so I'm not going to ask it to try again. That's what it looks like on all 3 of them, very similar.
This clip here is just to show that although you can use the pulse oximeter, it's not always reliable. So here I am getting 100% on the 955, 99% on a medical grade pulse oximeter. But if you look at the heart rate, I mean, the 955, I think it's my heart rate is 72. Which it isn't. I know it isn't. I'm feeling it on my pulse. It's around 45. Yeah, and the second I tried after this, it got the heart rate right, but then it was saying my oxygen in my blood was like 90. When the pulse oximeter was saying 99 to 100%. So not the most confident in results with the Elevate 4 sensor, but I think it's going to be more accurate than we've had in the past. So we're moving in the right direction. It's just not completely sunshine and rainbows yet.
So notifications is very similar on all of the watches. You can swipe through all of your phone notifications. You can choose to clear a notification if you want, and you can click and read it. So if someone texts you, like someone has just now, see if someone texts you, like someone has just messaged me on Instagram here, let's have a look. This is in real time. So great to see you in class. This is my PT teacher. Sorry I missed this message, and now it's disappeared. Hope all good with you. There we go. And you can see the whole message and choose to clear that as well. So that's notifications. You know, it's nothing special. It's not an Apple Watch. It's not a Google Pixel watch, but it's everything you need. Next thing I really like is the music controls. And I'm someone who likes to listen to music when I'm running. So let's put some music on. So yeah, this is me playing some music on guitar and singing. And you can choose to pause your track. You can choose to skip to the next track, or you can choose to turn the volume up or down. I've really enjoyed this when I'm running, where I can just quickly and easily adjust the music. It's been fantastic. We've got the world clock on here. The world clock is really cool. Yeah, I've got Melbourne, I've got Perth, I've got Barbados, and if you want to add a place, you can also scroll through the world, literally pick a region, and scroll through the countries and pick the country that you want to select. Moscow, there we go. And I really like this way of choosing your time by looking at an actual world map. It's absolutely sick, is the only way to describe it. It's a bit more restricted on the 955. I'm not even sure if the 255 has the world map, so let's have a look. So yeah, that's something new I've learnt. The 255 doesn't have the world clock. The 955 does have the world clock, but not as many cities, villages that you can choose. And the Enduro, Phoenix, Epics, fantastic world clock. If you're dealing with family in different countries, multiple time zones because of businesses, anything crazy like that. Have a look at the calories. So yeah, calories very similar on all of them. A bit more information again on the Enduro 2. It's got projected total. So this is how much, if I just keep on being lazy today, how much calories am I actually going to burn unless I sort my life out. 2049. I think that's fantastic to have a projected, you know, this is where I'm going to be after the workout I did this morning with my baseline kind of metabolic rate. Fantastic stuff. You can see your active and your resting as well. We'll scroll down, and this is what it looks on all the devices. We've got additional calories, active calories. We'll scroll down again, and you've got the active calories, and this is throughout the week, how much calories you've burnt. Some days, yeah, 1,000 calories active. And that's it for, you're at the end of the line with these two watches. With the Enduro, Phoenix Range, Epics, you've got the total calories as well. And then back to the beginning. On these, you have to physically scroll back up to the top. Health snapshot is really good fun. I'm just going to show you what a health snapshot looks like. So that's the data that you're going to get. You're going to get 64 beats per minute, was how much my health snapshot was earlier. We've got the average SpO2, which is 95, and we've also got the respiration rate, average stress, and then your HRV, which is 73 milliseconds. So this is more if you wanted to take a snapshot, maybe you're feeling anxious or just bored and want to know what your physiology is like. Or it's going to be in the morning before you go for a run, how hard should I push myself? You can force the watch to take these readings. I think it'll give you a good insight into how rested you are. On these watches you do have health snapshot as well, but they're not as integrated, where on the Enduro 2 I can just start a health snapshot from the widget. On the 955 and 255 you'll actually have to go to the activities page, you know, come out of here, go right to the main menu again, go to the activities place, and then activate the health snapshot that way. So it would be nice to have a bit more integration on these watches. There's no reason why they can't be. We've got the respiration rate, and that's going to tell me how my respiration has changed throughout the week. Yeah, respiration. Yeah, so respiration rate is the same on all of these watches. We have the stress. Stress has been something, as well as body battery, that's been super accurate for me. Whenever I am stressed, it is picking it up from my heart rate, which is insane how accurate Garmin are at doing this. Really impressive actually, and I think it's one of the best things about having one of these watches. And they've had it for a long time, so they've had a long time to build it as well. So even on my Vivo Active 3 back in the day, that had stress scores, and it was great then. So it's only got better, and I find it very valuable because it's just a way that you can check in with yourself and see, look, do I need to take it easy today? Do I need to lay off the coffee? But to scroll through your menus and then look at how your average has changed throughout the week as well. Temperature, my watch is picking up 16 degrees right now. What is the temperature on here? 16 degrees, so similar information. So you're not going to get temperature on the 255S or the 255, but you are going to get that on the 955, and also you're going to get that on the Enduro 2. Why is that important? Say you're camping, you might want to leave your watch outside just to take a temperature reading, like how bad is it out there. I like it for when I'm in the shower and doing my Wim Hof, see how low I've managed to get the watch. It's a bit of like a challenge. Just more general intrigued. And also if you're going out and it's like 40 degrees, which it has been in the UK literally only a few months ago, you can see how hot your watch has got, and therefore how much heat you've been exposed to as an athlete. So yeah, it's a cool information. Obviously it's being taken and sensed from the wrist, so it's not going to be super accurate because obviously your body's going to play a part in that as well. But I've really enjoyed it. I've loved this. Training readiness is going to be a more advanced feature. I'm not finding it on the 255, which has shocked me. I could have sworn it was on here, but let's have a look through. It's going to give you similar information. Yeah, I didn't sleep well last night, and overall my training readiness still looks good. So it still thinks that if I want to go and train today, then I probably can. And yeah, I feel like that's an accurate description of how I'm feeling. And it's going to tell you why it come up with that number as well. So it's going to tell you that, yeah, your sleep was terrible, but your recovery time is great. We're not sure about your HRV yet. Your training loads, optimal, so that's good. Sleep history, not enough data, and stress history, not enough. The stress history has actually been an issue that I've not really been able to sort out. Some of these watches, like the 955, I literally wore straight, didn't take off for a couple of months, and it still wasn't reporting stress history. So I don't see how more often you need to wear this watch for it to have that information. Not sure if Garmin needs to make it a bit more sensitive, just so that can actually, just so the algorithm can use that information rather than just palm it all off, because I do think their stress collection is great. They're collecting it throughout the day 24/7. There is no reason really why that shouldn't be included in your your overall training readiness calculation. We also have the HRV. Obviously I went through that earlier, so I'm not going to dive into it. I like having this. This is an app that isn't from Garmin, it's from GarminConnect IQ, but I really like it just to see how you're doing in terms of battery life. And you can see the discrepancy here as well, and how much am I losing an hour on these watches. One thing I must admit as well is that I'm using the Enduro 2 with its flashlight quite a lot, so it's taking, it doesn't burn that much battery, but then I'll go out for a run with the flashlight on full blast, and then I've burnt through like 20%, and that's fair enough. I'm getting similar battery life, to be honest, with these two, but it's because I'm using this so much more. The 255S, because I left it off my wrist and just let it die naturally in terms of battery life, when I went to go charge it back up again, I couldn't get it up to 100%. So the 255S would only charge to 73%, and then if I left it in for a few hours, it might go up to 80%, and that was it. I could never get it to 100. And to be honest, other than that, I would say this is the perfect watch, especially for the price. I mean, it's a fantastic piece of kit, but it has scared me a bit. How reliable is this? The fact that I've only had it a few months, and the battery seems to be doing weird things. That's my only gripe. Other than that, this is a fantastic watch. Like I said, heart rate, GPS is great. So yeah, we're burning 0.2 on the Enduro 2, 0.345 on the 955, and this is how much I'm losing a day. So around 5% on the Enduro 2 and around 8% on the 955. On average at the minute I'm getting 18 days of the Enduro 2, which, considering how much battery this has, that's pretty terrible. And just to explain why, it is because I'm pounding this with, I have every GPS mode turned on, I'm sleep tracking with it when I wear it, and also when I go for runs, because it's winter now, I have it on flashlight, because I prefer to use the flashlight of this than going out and using a head torch. It's just simple, chuck the watch on, off I go, and this is good enough to get me going. And also the safety feature as well, after sunset you can set this to flash with a cadence of red and white to let you know, cyclists, pedestrians, people in cars know you're about. So yeah, apart from that, that's the review of the videos. I guess the only other thing that people might be wanting to know, can I get away with going for the cheaper watch? So I'm not going to scroll through the activities on these watches, because these two watches here have everything you'll ever need. This is what I currently have on the 255, so I've run, hit, which is fantastic, because we didn't have that on the cheaper watches before. So now you can get a really lightweight watch which has the hit function. I'm just going to cancel that. Hit timers, yeah, so you've got AMRAP, MROM, TABAPA, and you can make your custom one now as well, so that's really good. We'll go back. You've got a training calendar. What's on there? Download your training calendar from GarminConnect. So that's really cool. I didn't know that about the hit class. We've got the health snapshot. I also have cardio. We have the stair stepper. I've been enjoy using the stair stepper. We've got track run, treadmill, bike indoor, pool swim, open water swim, and we've got triathlon on this watch. So yeah, like literally, for most people in life, this watch is going to be absolutely fantastic. And who really wants to be wearing a massive watch like this all day anyway? Like, it would be a very niche set of ultra people, where this is suiting your more casual but hardcore triathlete athletes as well. Got multi-sport, I've got ultra running, so the ultra running is on the 255, virtual run, indoor track, trail run, virtual track, indoor track, trail run, e-bike, mountain bike, hike, ski, snowboard, SUP rows, yoga, Pilates, breathwork, elliptical, and other. I wonder if did it have the strength activity? It does have the strength as well. It had rowing there as well. So that's everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully this has helped people understand what watch they want to get out of the free. So thank you for watching this video and review on the watches, and hope you enjoyed. Peace out. Bye.
So thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe if you can. My slogan, dreams are a step away. And remember, show compassion, show esteem, and have fun out there. Peace out.